swearing in of the president-elect, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. We would have discussions which will be centered on challenges and opportunities that lie ahead of his administration, Mahama's first 120 social contract, as well as expectations from the new parliament and the incoming administration. Before we move on, with me here is in the studio is Maxwell, who will be taking us through a few profiles of the current president-elect. Hello, Maxwell. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
By the grace, yourself.
I'm well. Okay, so you have few profiles concerning our president-elect. Do you mind sharing that with us?
All right. So as you made mention yesterday, our legislative body had a new leadership, both from majority, minority, and even the whole parliament itself. So we need to look at what will happen today also. John Dramani Mahama, president-elect, is going to be sworn into the office today. And who is he actually? Where is he coming from? What has he done before? And what is he coming to face from his predecessors? I mean, Akufo-Addo's administration, what is coming to face the challenges or the mess that he thinks that the government has created. So it's coming to fix and also develop the country. So let's quickly maybe run through.
So Maxwell, before you go in there, with me here is Stephen Bito, our correspondent from Parliament yesterday. He joined us in the studios this morning. And yes, our very own Derek Ni Asai, Ankara, who is an ex-banker, as well as the head of media for Ghana Boxing Authority. They will be joining us in our discussions as we delve deep into the matters of Parliament and then the presidential affairs. Maxwell, over to you.
I think that if Stephen, because yesterday he was there, he was at the Parliament, so he needs to tell us the stories, what happened there, the drama and everything. I slept along the way, so he was there. Okay. So if Kofi can take us through what happened yesterday.
Max, thank you very much. Good morning to my colleagues and your good self. To our cherished viewers, like you rightly pointed out yesterday, Parliament wasn't dramatic as we anticipated. It's going to be just like the 8th one. The entire atmosphere was serene, very cool. You could clearly see the majority side cladded in white, and what that signifies. In fact, the honorable member for Nigo Pram, that is Honorable Sam George, came with his own kente cloth, cladded. When asked, he said, he's a king. He's ushering, he's been ushered into the 9th Parliament and saying bye-bye to the 8th Parliament. The new dawn has come that Ghanaians are going to witness a reset agenda. So, you know, it was a very smooth process. I could say there were some few drama that we witnessed. You know, we're actually anticipating some legal battles that are going to erupt as a result of the injunction case that NDC was seeking against the disputed constituencies. But that actually didn't really happen. The first drama has to do with the clerks notifying the House about an injunction suit he received from Koforidua High Court. Interim injunction on the Akwetia MP, Honorable Ernest Kumi. And so he's just notifying the member of parliament in the House such that he wouldn't partake in the election of the speaker and whatever goes on as at yesterday. But like you could anticipate, the minority side opposed it. I mean, the leader of the minority, Honorable Alexander Fenumarkin, pointed to the fact that the House is guided by precedents, rules and regulations. And when he made reference to precedent, you could clearly talk of the Jachi Kwesi's case in 2020. And so they refused it. And then the clerk also understood. He never coerced them. He did his job by notifying them that you have been served this, not to partake in the swearing process. Also not to partake in the selection of the speaker. But his side to know they will handle it. Let him be sworn in. Let him partake in the processes. Then after that, they will see how to go about their whole issues. Another one has to do with the minority leaders' preliminary comments on seconding the speaker. Okay, the nomination of the speaker. You see, per the rules of parliament, if it is just one person nominated, and there isn't any opposing person nominated, once the person is nominated, when you're about to second, we don't talk plenty. You only second. After that, if you have anything to say, then you proceed. But yesterday, I mean, he tweaked in that before I second,
Yeah.
I have some preliminary comments to make, and that generated some heat, a little heat between him and the Honorable Kudeta.
And how was the atmosphere there? We seen on television. Maybe you experienced it.
Oh, it was good. It was healthy because, like you only anticipate, it's focusing on intellectual discourse. That's where the Honorable Afenyo Maki will tell Kudeta that you're not a lawyer. Then the Honorable Nelson Dafyam will also rise up and say, I'm a lawyer. Then Honorable Samuel Dinapo also says, I'm a lawyer. So you could see it going back and forth. But per Honorable Afenyo Maki's comment, he is making reference to the word mandate in the public statement of the president-elect, who is going to be sworn in today. That it looks like it's interfering in the works of Parliament. He can nominate, but he can't mandate. And so he sees it as something that is not the right way to go. By the end of the day, peace was restored, and then he seconded the motion. The speaker was duly elected, sworn in by the Chief Justice. And then we had two deputy speakers also elected, the Honorable Bernard Ahiafo, and then the second deputy speaker, Honorable Andre Siama, retained as the second deputy speaker yesterday again. And so I could say the process was very smooth. As at early this morning, around 3 a.m., Parliament, the ninth Parliament, has been inaugurated, and they are fully ready to see to the inaugurations of the president-elect. So, lo and behold, that's how Parliament was.
Let's look at what yesterday Afenyo did. Do you see him being as a threat to the majority?
Well, that's Parliament. I don't see, from my point of view, I don't see it being a threat. In fact, yesterday, during the last sitting, he described the then minority as stubborn, combatant, with all the, the radical terms. Are you getting it? And he made so because of the co-equal numbers they had, the numerical strength that they had. And so, with this one, with the clear majority, almost 2/3 of majority on the NDC side, as against their side, yes, he's going to be combatant. He's not going to see to this free flow of some of the issues. But like we expect, both of the side are promising to work in the interest of the nation, and so there's not going to be heckling, there's not going to be distraction of government businesses. We spoke to the Honorable Kojo Ponkruma yesterday. They said they are going to be a responsible opposition. A couple of them said no. What they want to do is that they see to it that government runs freely. One thing that I think the Honorable Afenyo Maki pointed on earlier has to do with the establishment of Operation Recover All It. Aura. He sees as a threat or a ploy to which hunts political opponents, where people will be entering political opponents' house looking for monies and blah 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 blah. And to him, it's illegal. There should be there are so many avenues of fighting corruption, and the state institutions are to be allowed to work. So he believed that the establishment of Aura is illegal.
But they also established the special prosecutor.
It has been constituted as a special prosecutor. So right now it's legal for it. That office is going to be in existence. I don't think the incoming president is going to dissolve it. It will rather further fortify it. So upon his statement about the Aura, we reach out to the chairman of the Aura committee, who is Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, and his words were simple: if you haven't stolen for this from the state, don't be afraid. that was it. If you haven't stolen from the state, don't be afraid. And so, it was very cordial. It was very peaceful yesterday. Having some conversations, some first-time MPs. The Honorable MP for the Merba constituency. He's Honorable the member of BOM is Honorable
okay.
Isaac Okuyibo,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then the Honorable Okrugu was there. We spoke to a couple of them.
And how was their reaction there? The first comers.
The first comers, I mean, it's a great joy for them to be in the chamber yesterday, and then you could see that yes, it lies ahead of them a heavy task, and all you're promising is they are going to learn from the unprecedented defeat of the MPP and deliver to the people the promises they made. So they are going to see to their promises being actualized, and so that's how it has been yesterday. Very cool. Speaker didn't make any reference to any injunction case, recollation, redeclaration, as he stated earlier, that he's not going to sworn in any MP that has been its results have been collated and declared. So he's not going to recognize you. So I believe that a certain consensus was reached before the House commenced yesterday.
You have something.
Yes, so Stephen, you were with them in Parliament yesterday, and on the issue of the MPs that were sworn in, even though we had some challenges, what do you think are the implications of these to Ghana's democracy?
Has to do making reference to
Akwitia constituency.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You see, well, it lies ahead of what will be the outcome. It's a legal battle. Even the references were made to the previous one, that is Honorable Judge Kwesin. We obviously know that when you disobey the orders of the court, it's known as contempt of court.
Yeah.
And so let's see what his lawyers are going to do. I think even though to we the ordinary people who are not legal practitioners, it might sound kind of abusive, it might sound disobedient, but I believe so well that it will rather fortify and strengthen the democracy. We're going to see how the rules are going to work, how the state institutions are going to work, whether he's going to be found culpable and then the necessary punishment given to him, or there will be a way out to defend himself, just like Judge Kwesi went through the mill and finally got re-elected into the chamber. And so I believe so well that I mean, they are lawyers, they know what they are doing. Yeah.
Let's see the effectiveness of this 9th Parliament. You have been in the House for a couple of times, the 8th Parliament. Seeing this 2/3 of the numbers as compared to the 8th Parliament, how will you differentiate? How do you see the strength and its effectiveness along the way?
As for the strength, is obvious. The strength lies on the side of the NDC. Now, its effectiveness will depend on the priorities of the NDC, because most of the decisions, almost every decisions, the MPP minority side will have a say, but they will not form part of the decision.
Yeah.
So the speaker will tell you can win the debates, but you can't win the votes. You get a whole point. So it depends. It's going to depend on the clear direction of the NDC, the effectiveness of the NDC, or the effectiveness of the 9th Parliament relies on the absolute majority that the NDC has.
Yeah.
And upon interviewing them, they keep thanking Ghanaians for giving them that overwhelming majority, because there are a lot of rods in the system that they want to fast track. Once the president is inaugurated, work is going to kickstart right from today. And so we are looking forward to a very effective, efficient, nationalistic 9th Parliament, so that there wouldn't be abuse of power. In fact, we trust the speaker again, further, Speaker Baldwin, as an independent and a fair referee, to check the abuses that probably the NDC might have against that of the NDP. Because interviewing some of the NDC MPs, he recounted on some of the trauma they went through. And if he gets his way, they will bully what they describe as a micro minority. But he also believes that even though the speaker is coming from their side, he's a principled man. He's a statesman. He's nationalistic. And so he's going to put the interest of the nation first.
I don't know whether you had an interaction with some of the audience in the chamber yesterday to get their feedback, how they saw the parliament and others.
In fact, I've had some of recording interaction with some of them, especially. The chamber was very full up to the point that people didn't even get access into the chamber, and so some. I think that was the first time they had wanted to see their MPs being sworn in, but they couldn't get that access. So they expressed their frustrations, but they were watching the lives on the screen. Those that were inside, I mean, they testified to the smooth process, the peacefulness of it, and they look forward. And there was this one I interviewed, so they look forward to a very effective ninth parliament that will kneel to the benefit of the entire Ghanaian.
I don't know, Derek, if you want to add something to what happened yesterday, and also our colleague Stephen, what he has said.
Well, I don't have much to say, just to contribute that, but for the unnecessary long speech from the minority leader, the unnecessary what Union use and all that, I thought that we had a smooth. In fact, I was having a chat with maybe Aibote, former MP of Odudu.
Okay, so Derek, before you continue, we have Na Anyama Collison on the line. She's reporting from the grounds of the Independence Square. Hello, Na, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Lizzie. I'm fine. How are you?
I am well. So you are there currently. Can you brief us on some of the things that are happening there now, the atmosphere?
Okay. Thank you so very much for the opportunity. I must say that the atmosphere here is really, really, really charged up, as you can see on your TV screens now. And then we have ministers of state, international representatives, and all others who are concerned about the inaugural ceremony are finding their way and see to get somewhere to see. Currently, we're having a performance by the dance ensemble. Earlier, there was a performance by the Northern Region representatives. Now it's of the 10 of the country chapter. They are displaying their dance moves currently. The program is expected to start at 10 a.m. So for now, I must say that the supporters in the stand is full. Everywhere at the Independence Square is pretty much full now. Yeah, this is what I can report to. For any other questions?
Yes, now, so have you spotted any prominent person and have you been able to have discussions with any yet?
While the media is situated, we are a little prevented from moving around, because if you move around, you lose your chances to get on the inner perimeter square. But I've spotted men of God finding their way to sit. I've spotted some prominent persons here, and also a couple of ambassadors who were in the camp together finding a way into the entrance. I must say that if you want to enter into the inner perimeter, it's a little struggle because the camp is a lot, and we are all finding our way to get who is relevant to speak to us and when. I'll update you subsequently. But for now, I do not have anybody that I've spoken to yet.
Very well, now. Thank you so much. And then we look forward to having further discussions with you. We are back to the studio with Derek. Derek, so you were saying something concerning the ninth parliament.
I thought that we wasted time. I mean, we should have. Some of us slept along the way because some of those unnecessary comments, dragging, were just unfortunate. But then, apart from that, it was a smooth, lovely process. It shows how far Ghana has come. I mean, I was telling some of the guys that personally, when there is any issue, I only look at the good part. So last 4 years, we had some issues. There was a whole lot of misunderstanding. That has helped. So you mentioned Jati Kwesi, and it was cool.
Yeah.
4 years ago, it was war. And that, but we learned from that. So now we had even some legal issues. They treated it legally, and there was no fight. So whatever occurred last 4 years was good for us. We learned what we have, and that is what democracy is about. You learn when there are issues to develop the best. So it was good. We are just looking forward for what happens today.
So my question to you, Derek, we understand and then we witness that the Speaker of Parliament has been re-elected into office to continue his leadership. How do you think this is going to affect the legal proceedings in Parliament? Because we know he has his roots from the NDC and they are in power. How do you think this is going to affect some of the proceedings in Parliament?
I think one thing Stephen said that I love, you see, as much as Right Honorable Bagbin is an NDC person, we saw his performance where even, I stated it yesterday, where even some NDC MPs were not happy with some. They thought that you are a man, so anything that comes to the table or the floor, you must be on our side. But he thought that he had to be firm, fair, and then execute his mandate as a Ghanaian, the third man, number three, Ghana. Which, so I don't think, I believe it will be a continuation of the work that is done in the 8th Parliament. I also believe that the NDC must not think that because it's Bagbin, they will get things that are not right through. I'm one person who doesn't believe that is what will happen. I believe that we have an experienced man. I mean, for Ghana now, when we talk about Parliament, you cannot talk about Parliament without Right Honorable Bagbin. He's been through from day one. It's done. And yesterday, you heard him say that he came to the first speaker role as somebody with experience from MPship experience. And now, for the second time, he's coming with a speaker experience. So it tells you that he's going to do even far more. Yes, there will be a lot of improvement. The kind of mistakes, as human, will make mistakes. I believe that he will have the chance to rewrite whatever errors he made in the 8th Parliament. And for me, I'm very expectant. I'm very, very expectant, and I believe that we're going to enjoy this 9th Parliament.
Okay, so Stephen, back to you. On the same question, do you think that he being sworn in or re-elected as Speaker is going to affect any proceedings? Do you think that he's going to be siding his roots rather than being an independent person in Parliament?
Well, like my brother rightly said, based on his previous posture in the 8th Parliament, even though human being is unpredictable, Speaker Bagbin has demonstrated some sort of principles and then patriotism. And so, from where I sit, based on what he has displayed last session, I believe so that it's not going to affect the work of Parliament. It's rather going to see to you that yesterday he was admonishing the members of Parliament that as you take this oath of allegiance and oath of office, remember that some of your colleagues are not here because they didn't take certain things serious. They took the people for granted. And so remember that you owe a responsibility to your constituents. And so I see the Speaker Bagbin to be one that is going to be a father figure, a neutral person to the 9th Parliament. Even though he's come from the NDC side, I believe so well that he will see to you that you do the right thing. It is not every bill that can be passed.
Yeah, rightly said. So Maxwell, back to you.
on the same issue, don't you also think that we are not going to have maybe a new taste of proceedings or Parliament, seeing the majority leader the same leadership, and also a minority the same leadership, and including the Parliament itself, Speaker and the other leaders? Are we not going to have maybe the same taste that we had in the 8th Parliament for some time now? Do we needed some fresh faces or fresh leadership in our leaders? I like how the minority now, they brought in the first person, though he's a first timer, Jerry Ahmed, just first time, but he's in the leadership. Don't we think that we'd have gotten a new faces into the leadership of both minority and maybe majority, or even the leadership, the House leadership itself?
For me, I think it's a matter of time. It borders on the decisions of the political parties. Like I rightly pointed out, or my brother here pointed out, that Speaker made reference to he ascending to the throne of Speaker from the experiences of being an MP, and that has helped him deliver to the expectations of Ghanaians. And so, based on that experience as Speaker, he is further expected to improve upon his duties. And so, per some decisions of the political parties, they would have decided that being a leader to handle a hung parliament, 12 gentlemen in the House, on both divide. If you're able to maneuver your way through and see to that you chalk certain successes, then let's see what you can do with that experience. And that also doesn't ignore the fact that a new person will come and then you could actually nominate or elect him into leadership role. But I believe so well that it lies at the discretionary powers of the political parties, and they will see what to do and what not to do. Mind you, there are times that you could bring in inexperienced, in quote, inexperienced people due to certain circumstances, especially when, even when the experienced person is there, his presence is not going to inure to any change at all. And I believe so well that certain calculations were made before even bringing the first timer in that position, because by way of numerical strength, you can raise a lot of arguments even if you're an experienced person. Like I said, Speaker Bagwell said you can win the debate, but you can't win the vote. So I think it lies on the decisions of the political parties to make such choices.
So on the issue of newbies coming into parliament and also occupying some leadership roles, we could tell that we have some women who have been appointed in as leaders of front benches for their parliaments, you know, and I think this is a way of implementing the bill that was passed recently on the
action bill.
Yes. Do you think that because of this bill, that is why we have these women there?
In fact, these women are women that have lived up to expectations. In fact, they were part of those who passed the affirmative action bill. They've been trumpeting the need to pass the affirmative action bill. The likes of Honorable Comfordo Kanza, the Honorable PJ. They are experienced women, and by way of their qualification, by way of their experience, by way of their pedigree in knowledge, they are fit for the position, and they discharged their roles, responsibilities without any issue. And so I think the passage of the affirmative action bill is further going to strengthen and embolden more women. I think this parliament, we are expecting more women in the parliament. Last, the 8th parliament was 40, 2020 on both divide, but this time we are expecting more. And I think the affirmative action bill has rather come to bolden women to come out of their comfort zone, that we can know how to go about national development.
Okay, so unlike the 8th parliament, where we had all parties occupying equal representatives of parliament, 137 each, with just one independent member. Now we have the NDC having an overwhelming number of people or representatives in parliament. How do you think that this is going to affect some of the proceedings? Are we still going to have the minority? You know, we are expecting that they will definitely air some of their concerns when it comes to policies that will be passed or bills that will be brought to parliament. Do you think that they would consciously make sure to delay proceedings like they did in the 8th parliament or the hang parliament?
In fact, with this kind of parliament that we're having now, unless the NDC majority decide to delay the processes, the voices of the minority are going to be heard, just like Ghanaians heard the voices of the then minority and made them majority today. It doesn't stop them from arguing their points out. It doesn't stop them from expressing their opinions and then views on a certain policy bills and the rest. But unless, because you'll be subjected to voting, and when it comes to the voting, the NDC have the majority, absolute majority, as against that of the NPP, and so I don't see it going to slow the process unless the NDC side decides something otherwise. And NDC will solely be blamed for whatever back and forth or whatever retardation this kind of parliament suffers, because the absolute majority they had is to fast track process. Ghanaian feels that there's something that ought to be done urgently, and so we gave you the numbers. Let it have it done. Yes, you will have your say. You can win the debate, but you will not win the votes.
Exactly.
I borrowed the words of number 3.
So, Derek, on the same question, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I think that in Parliament numbers are important, and that is why there were a bit of skirmishes in the 8th Parliament. So if you have the numbers now, why worry? Why do you delay in pushing your bills and your laws through? I mean, there's no reason for them to be. The fact also is that it means that for the minority, they should be very, very extra obedient. They must be present all the time, because seriously, when it comes to committees and stuff, because the NDC side have the numbers, they will get their people always, and most of their peoples in their committee, or most of their members in their committee. And for the minority, it means that you also must be seen to be work to be able to get some of these opportunities. So they will be very obedient, I believe. They will always be present. They will be very punctual. And everybody are just few. And if I tell people that if you have the 4 independent guys with the 183/184 NDC MPs, they can just the whole 4 years they can just come to Parliament and do their work without anybody feeling that there is something called minority. So the minority must show off. They must ensure that they come to the party, because they are not needed. So they must ensure that they dress well, come be punctual, and always be present. They must come to, but you don't need them to work. That from my end, that is what I see. But I still expect that the NDC side must use the numbers to do the right thing, because Ghanaians will be watching. You cannot just kick the minority out and do what you like, because the day of reckoning will just catch up with you.
Exactly.
And I mean, the numbers are good, and they must use it for the right thing.
So, so based on the discussions we are having, clearly, do you think that there's going to be any collaboration between the minority and majority at any point? Because we know that now the minority has accepted their fate, that they are minority. You know, the shift in power was so swift, and then I'm sure they are still living in their dreams. But then, would you say that at some point they would collaborate with the majority, so that their voices at least will be heard to influence the next elections coming up?
Strategically and tactically, they have to do that more for them to be seen to be working. One, for them to be valuable for this particular night Parliament. They must be the one calling for the collaboration. They must be the ones always present there to be seen, because like I stated earlier, their numbers does not matter. So it's like what example can I give? If you are not needed for something to be done, it means that you must always bring yourself up for you to be considered. And that is where I mean, even in committees, they must be seen to be doing a lot of work there. If not that, I mean, because you also don't forget that they need to be lobbying for opportunity. They need to be lobbying for even jobs for their constituents. They need to be lobbying for contracts, even for certain allowances for themselves. So if you lay back, those with the numbers will do everything without you. So they must come to the party.
Very well. So Maxwell, we know that we have 4 independent candidates who have actually aligned with the majority. Do you think that this is just a strategy for them to improve or contribute to their constituencies? Do you think that this is just politics?
I remember yesterday, Mr. Francis or Derek made mention that they need to align with any of the political parties, especially the majority. Because as an independent, yes, of course, they have voted for you. We are expecting something better for you to come and do. Because NPP failed us, NDC also failed us. Now we need an independent candidate. And here is the case. He made mention of lobbying. And then if you are not at our side, It's very hard for you to get something for your people. And then the next election, they will vote you out because they will say you haven't done anything. Though you are not the one who's supposed to come and build the schools and other, but Ghanaians and the way we think, if you're an MP, build the schools for us, construct the roads, do all those stuff. But it's an executive function. But we are expecting you to do that from your common fund and other incentives. So if you are not in line with any other powerful committee or something, you will not get something for your constituent. So I think that they can function very well when they are able to associate themselves with the majority. That's why I'm not surprised seeing A plus or all the four independents aligning with the majority, because they know that when they go to minority now, their voice cannot be heard. No matter how they will yell and pants, no one is going to listen to them in parliament. Though Ghanaians will see them, oh, they are doing well. But parliament, for you to be taken serious in the business, your voice will not be heard. So they have aligned with majority in order for them to get something for the constituency. But you must also know that everything they are doing is also comprising of politics. Though you have aligned with us, but in the next election, are you going to be part of our party, or you are still going to be an independent? The party that you have aligned with them, they also have a representative in the coming election. So if they give you a lot of resources and you go and you shine for yourself, not for us. That's another. So people most of the time attribute development or non-performance aside the government to the MP. So if you don't do well, they will vote you out. If you do well, they will maintain you. So if we give you the resources, provide you everything, you go and do what the constituent is supposed to do. Oh, and when he has about MPP or maybe NDC again, now let's vote for him again. Meanwhile, the party, the NDC party, the candidates will lose the election. They also need numbers. I believe that NDC wish they would have gotten all the 265 constituencies. That's why they represented 265 MPs. So getting aligned with majority will help them to get something. But they also have a notion that when they give you more the resources, you will shine and get the fame. Hence, it's going to affect them in the coming election. Every step they are taking today, or even just days done, they are thinking of 2028 election, even beyond. So no matter who you are and how best you can do the constituency, some might even try not to give you the resources, though you have aligned with them, so because of politics. So they can function, but the power belongs to who power belongs to. So let's see how what will happen in the next 2020.
Yes, so Stephen, you were with them yesterday. I'm sure you might have interacted with some of the newbies. I think at a point I saw a journalist talking to John Dumelo.
Yeah.
What was the demeanor like for them? Do you think that they have something up their sleeves to contribute to Parliament? Or do you think that they are just there to add up to the numbers?
Well, like you rightly pointed out, we had a couple of interactions with the new, the first time MPs, and from the look of things, they are there to see to the actualization of their promises to their constituents, because they all make reference to the past election, the election conducted, because constituencies that you could not even expect the incumbent to lose, they lost miserably. And all that pointed to the fact that if you take the people for granted, they are just counting on you, and the day of reckoning will come. And so, interacting with most of them, John Dumelo, Edo Magbana,
A plus,
and the rest, they were like, I'm here to serve my people. I'm not here to serve myself. And so, like you rightly said, how do you serve yourself? How do you lobby for development for your people? The right thing is to lobby, side in the majority side. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
And so that makes a good sense for them. Even if you're not going to join the party, you show some commitment. So you can lobby development for people. Probably you can be maintained as their next member of parliament. But my one thing that I believe that the minority should do to be a responsible minority is to listen to the sentiments of the people. Listen to the responses of the people, because when government in power thinks that we have the numbers and they are doing certain things that do not inure to the benefit of the people, but you, by listening to the people, you stand your ground, object it, and let your people see, it will catapult you in the future. And this is the result of what happened in the 8th Parliament. Especially, we all know about what happened in the passage of the e-levy when there were scaffold. I mean, members of Parliament behaving dishonorably. You get the point. All in the name of the fact that the minority was in touch with the public that we don't need the e-levy, and so we don't want it to be passed. Who knows? We haven't done the post-election analysis, but probably that fight contributed to the massive margin they had today. And so my advice to the minority side is just like they promised they're going to be a responsible minority, is to listen to the sentiment of the people and act in accordance with that. For the majority, they can be power drunk and think they have the numbers, and so they can bulldoze their way through. But for the minority, listen to the people, and then you're good to go.
Yes, so I understand that you actually interviewed John Dumelo. Now, what were some highlights that he put out there for you? What were some of the things that he said that made you feel like, okay, so he's up to the task?
So yesterday, I mean, he was hilarious at the point. Okay, we trying to seek the sort of committee he's lobbying to be in. And he asked the journalist, which one are you also lobbying for? You know, but he actually pointed to the fact that he has a couple of universities in his constituencies. He's promised them there's accommodation issues in this constituency, the likes of Unimac, IJ, Legon, Gimpa, UPSA, and the rest. And so during his campaign, one of the lobbying he's looking at doing, one of the problems he's looking at solving, is to put up a hostel facility for them. And so we're trying to, how is this promise is going to work? He said, now that I'm in power, President Mahama is in power, we'll see to the actualization of those dreams. I'm not here for myself. I will see to it that the very people, stakeholders that have to come in, they all come in, that we work together for the constituents. And so these were basically his response yesterday.
Okay, so Derek, on the newbies, we are still discussing the newbies. We see that we have Jerry Ahmed joining the leadership of the minority. I think he's the second minority whip for the NPP. Now, he taking up that position, what is your perception? What do you make of it?
Well, initially, I thought it was too early for a newbie or a fresher to get that especially the whip position. I was just joking and I said that if you are whipping your senior does not whip. How would you want to whip somebody who is your senior, you know,
who has more experiences than you.
Yeah, exactly. He knows his way out. I was even saying that Ahmed is now will now, learn, the just even the area, what goes on in Parliament and the proceedings and all that. He has to take time off his busy schedule to learn that, and then you give him a preferred position to in addition. That would be a bit difficult. But then, like you stated, most of these things are not given in vacuum. They might have considered a lot of factors before they gave him that. Because seriously, I was looking initially. I thought there were no men there, but I was looking at the MPP side. I saw former communication minister works in housing. Opon Nkrumah was there. I saw this Patrick Boama sitting there. I even saw former finance minister, just sitting at the back there. I mean, so there might be something unique, something peculiar. There might be a unique reason why it was pushed forward. Perhaps as the day goes by, we'll get to understand why it was given. But in fact, initially I thought it was a no-no, but maybe they might have some more important reason why it was selected. But it also means that he must deliver. If he delivers, it means that others, when you are going as a fresh B, you know that you can also get it. So it's a case for a lot of the newbies or freshers. He must deliver. If he delivers, it means that there will not, there will not be that fresher experience thing, not again, but then it will reduce because somebody some way, somehow, a fresher has come and delivered. So it will give chance to others to also come on board. So I think it's a two-way thing, but initially it was a no for me.
But Derek, don't you also think that maybe he's coming up with a new ideas,
Exactly.
fresh ideas?
That's what
Maybe those there no feeling reluctant. We have been in power so long, so someone coming fresh. Let's try the person. Maybe behind the scene, what you also observe and what is also coming to adapt to the house.
It will also surprise you. It will not be a surprise if all the names I'm calling and they were approached, and because they are a minority, they feel that Charlie, let me not go there because it will not have too much impact. Perhaps that might also be another reason. But then I don't think that Jerry cannot. Don't forget he has a legal background. Yesterday, the minority leader was telling Okujato that he's
not a lawyer.
Yeah, not a lawyer. Like in private, it's only lawyers who do the work there. But he proved to he was trying to prove to Okujato that honorable that the House of Parliament is a place for lawyers. So maybe maybe Jerry Ahmed has some who come and help legally for the minority leadership. But then we can also not write out the fact that he must come with some new ideas. He must come with some newness. Let me put it that way. He cannot just be join the old and follow the way. He must come with something new, so that and that's the only way it will have impact in that leadership role. He needs to just do something new.
Okay, so still on the case of Jerry Ahmed, before he was appointed, there were some old bees in the house. Do you think that his appointment is going to cause some form of confusion between the minority, as maybe one of them or most of them may think that they deserve to be in that position rather than him?
No, it's always happening, even in our normal day life. When you think that, Charlie, you are more experienced, you are more knowledgeable, you were there, even in our offices. Someone will say that, even in my role at GBA, people think that you cannot chair, I mean, so you understand?
Yeah.
You know, chair, somebody think that rules should be for him. So I will not be surprised that people will not be happy. But whether you are happy or not, you are there because of a grouping, and the group has decided that this is the one they are going with. So you can have your issues,
your differences.
you might have your differences, but it won't go anywhere. So you just have to renew your mind and know where you belong, and just support your leader. And that is the only way the world can grow. I mean, as much as you don't agree with that decision, it's a group decision, and you must back the decision so that there will be success. So definitely, I won't be surprised if some people are grumbling and they are annoying. But that it's neither here nor there. They might just follow.
So Stephen, do you think that his appointment was to create some form of regional balance because he represents the Greater Accra? Do you think that it was to create a balance?
Like my brother pointed out, there are a number of reasons for political decision. It could be for a regional balance. It could be for probably this kind of parliament is not that daunting for you to leave the impact. So there could be a lot of reasons behind it. But with your initial question as to whether it's going to cause confusion whatsoever, like you said, in every political setting, there's dissenting views. But at the end of the day, consensus is reached. You would have to compromise probably your decision or your view for the collective good of the group. And so, whatever the reason could be to fulfill the regional balance, which I, in my personal view, don't think that would be the first priority they'll set. Because regional balance, putting away the capability of the person, might not serve their real purpose. Yes, it could be. Probably they have some agenda they are playing around, but there will be a number of reasons for his decision as the deputy chief whip, which I believe you rightly said. The task is very daunting on him. He has to show some innovation. I mean, whipping your seniors in line. Naturally, some seniors wouldn't, majority of your seniors wouldn't want a junior,
especially those who don't agree with their decision.
Exactly. Exactly. I think before the nomination of Honorable Matu Poku Prempe as the running mate to Napo, some even senior members of parliament had issues with that. The likes of Honorable Andiapia Kubi, he had issues with that. You get it? So because yes, there could be seniority at play there, but at the end of the day, it manifested. And so let's see how he's going to discharge his duty. There's going to be a number of factors. One of the factors I believe they considered has to do with the numbers. The numbers. The current numbers. Because with the current numbers, the whip is to ensure that everyone is in the chamber, they conduct their business according to the group's desire. But with the current numbers, even if everybody comes, and let's say half or more than half of the NDC side comes, it's still going to outweigh your total population. And so I believe so well that the number factor is one of the considerations they made. But there could be a lot of reasons as well.
I'm also thinking that for the sake of committees, maybe some of these names we are mentioning, they may want them to be in specific committees to impact decisions in that area.
Exactly.
I also think that might also, so the number, yes, because of their number, they may want to give him a role and then give the others roles that
the senior most seniors,
exactly,
give them active roles at the committee
exactly
level.
So finance, so privileges committees and stuff. These are big committees where big decisions are made.
In fact, some of these seniors will be in the public account committee.
Yes, public account committee as well.
Yesterday, the Speaker Bargain lauded the public account committee for a great job done, because they've helped recover a lot of state money with the help of the Auditor General as well. And so, I mean, public account committee, when you are hauled there, it is more than oven. And so, most of these seniors who have seen how the work of parliament is being done would prefer to find themselves in some of these committees. And so,
I'm surprised for seeing Kojo upon Kroma there.
Come again?
Upon Kroma.
At the public account.
Oh no, definitely.
Oh yeah,
he
can be there.
Yeah.
I mean, his main man is someone who could get up black. So don't use your position.
I can't wait to see the two of them.
Definitely, I suspect they will both be on that committee.
Yeah, so
it will be nice.
There will be a number of reasons.
And we'll see the kind of questions upon Kuma will ask.
And maybe A+ too there. Oh.
On the issue of A+, he's actually one of the newbies that have been in the news for some time because of some of the controversies that he's raised over the time. Now, there was a time where he said that the NDC were trying to get him to their side, even though we know that he's originally from